What's up guys, my name is Car and welcome to my channel. In this episode I'm taking you through all the unusual, fun, quirky and sometimes weird things that are actually normal in Japan. I'm gonna tell you about 40 things that I noticed on my month-long trip in Japan that will simply blow your mind. Alrighty, let's talk about some strange things now. Up first, the streets are extremely clean. Ever wandered the streets of Japan and noticed something peculiar? Yep, the cleanliness game is strong here and not a trash can in sight. It's like a scavenger hunt for your rubbish. Well, turns out you're nudged to responsibly dispose of your trash back at home. The Japanese are big on tidiness, so they usually keep hold of their trash until their home sweet home, where they can bid it adieu properly. Eating alone in restaurants is normal. Picture this, you're craving some delicious food but you're flying solo. In many places around the world, dining solo can feel like a lonely affair, but in Japan they've got this down to an art form. Step into a cozy eatery and you'll find counters designed just for one person. No awkward glances, no feelings of loneliness. In Japan, it's not about dining alone, it's about savoring the moments, just you and your plate. High-pitched noise in certain areas. Ever been wandering the streets of Japan and suddenly hear this painful high-frequency ringing? Some areas in Japan have this unique sound that not everyone can hear. This is actually a clever trick to keep people from loitering around. I thought I was going mad because I heard it several times in Tokyo and none of the people I traveled with could hear it, but turns out I wasn't crazy and I wasn't imagining things. 7-Elevens everywhere. Get ready for a wild ride through Japan's convenience store scene. It's a 7-Eleven bonanza. These stores are everywhere you turn, from bustling Tokyo streets to serene countryside lanes. With over 20,000 locations across the country, Japan is truly the land of 7-Elevens. Blue traffic lights. Now, this is a common misconception that the traffic lights in Japan are blue, but they aren't. They are green, the same as in the rest of the world. The confusion leads back to the word the Japanese use for the green traffic lights. They actually call it blue or ao, rather than green, midori. Designated smoker spots. Picture this, you're strolling down the street, craving a puff, but hold up, no smoking allowed on these streets. In Japan they've got designated spots just for smokers. It's all about respect for others in this country and of course keeping those streets clean. Plus, around Tokyo you will find loads of signs deterring you from smoking, such as this illustration that a cigarette is carried at the same height of a child's face. Advertising vans. These funky vehicles roam the streets blasting catchy tunes and promoting everything from local businesses to upcoming events, pop stars and even politicians. It's like a mobile party with a side of advertising. These vans are called ad trucks and are a popular marketing strategy in Japan, adding a splash of color and sound to the urban landscape. Cabs in Japan. A common surprise for first-timers to Japan is that the cab doors open and close automatically, adding an extra touch of convenience for passengers. Then picture this. You hop into the cab and are greeted with white gloves, suited drivers with impeccable service and professionalism. In Japan, many cab drivers are also older individuals, due to factors like the mandatory retirement age in other professions. This reflects the unique economic and societal dynamics of Japan in making sure the elderly are not excluded from society. Vending machines in Japan. Vending machines are almost everywhere now in most countries of the world. But what do you think that vending machines should be selling? In Japan, they offer an incredible variety of products, from drinks and snacks to items like fresh produce, collectibles, pictures of women, sake shots, lunch bento boxes, edible insects, and even underwear. These vending machines will blow your mind. Kawaii! This is not just a word, it's a culture. In Japan, kawaii, meaning cute, is more a way of life. From adorable characters to fashion styles, the kawaii culture is everywhere you look. The term kawaii originated in the 1970s and has since become a huge phenomenon in Japan, influencing fashion, entertainment, and even cuisine. So, next time you're in Japan, embrace the kawaii spirit and let your inner cuteness shine. Face masks in Japan. In Japan, rocking a face mask isn't just a COVID thing, it's a way of life that has to do more with hygiene reasons and etiquette. Whether you're battling a cold, dodging pollen, or just having a makeup-free day, wearing masks here is totally normal. Toilets in Japan. Forget everything you know about toilets, because these babies are straight up robots. With water jets, heated seats, soothing music, and a whole bunch of other features, Japanese toilets take bathroom luxury to a whole new level. Just be careful to not accidentally activate a setting you weren't asking for. Waiting in line. Let's talk about waiting lines in Japan. From popular ramen joints to the fluffy pancake breakfast place, it's all about the lineup. Waiting in line for food is a cultural norm in Japan and nothing strange. Oftentimes, restaurants don't do reservations and you just kinda have to show up and hope the wait isn't too long. But good things do come to those who wait. Purikura. Get ready to step into the world of Purikura, a high-tech photo booth. In Japan, these aren't your average snapshots, they're real-life Photoshop experiences. You can transform yourself with makeup, skin tone adjustments, and even eye-widening effects. Plus, add fun stickers and notes to your pics before printing them out. Purikura is a beloved pastime in Japan with over 3,000 photo booths across the country. So, strike a pose and get ready for some photo magic. Indoor and bathroom slippers. In Japan, these specialized leather slippers are meant exclusively for indoors or sometimes specifically for the toilet, keeping your feet clean, comfy, and warm whilst not being shoeless at the same time. You'll mostly find them in traditional inns and tea houses, adding a touch of cultural flair to the whole experience. Theft is uncommon in Japan. While pickpocketing and theft might be common concerns elsewhere, Japan has got its safety game on lock. Japan consistently ranks as one of the safest countries in the world, with low crime rates and a strong sense of community trust. Fake food displays. Ever walked past a restaurant and been enticed by mouth-watering displays of food in the window? Well, in Japan, those tantalizing dishes are fake food displays which obviously aren't meant for eating, but rather to showcase the menu offerings. This food displaying originated in the 1920s and has since become an iconic part of Japanese dining culture. Also pretty handy for tourists so they don't have to Google Translate the menu. Trains in Japan. There are a few interesting facts about the trains in Japan. First off, the bullet trains are a standout transportation mode with a combination of speed, reliability, punctuality, and innovation. These things are always on time and are freakishly silent while traveling at whopping speeds of 320 kilometers per hour, unlike the hustle and bustle of trains elsewhere. This makes it the perfect place to get in a quick nap, another common thing in Japan. You may find the person sitting next to you suddenly falling asleep on your shoulder and snoring loudly. It's common practice in Japan to let them do it. Slurping noodles. Slurping noodles in Japan is totally polite, it cools them down and enhances the flavor, and while it might seem strange elsewhere, here it's a sign that you're enjoying your meal. You may want to practice a bit before though, cause scalding noodles and broth on your face is not that great, but go ahead, slurp away, it's all part of the fun. Bilingual newspapers. Let's talk about Japan's awesome bilingual newspapers, perfect for English or Japanese learners. These newspapers offer a fantastic way to improve language skills while staying updated on local news and events. Whether you're practicing your Japanese kanji or brushing up on your English grammar, these newspapers have got you covered. So grab a copy, dive in, and let the language learning adventure begin. Advertising in Japan. In a country that embraces consumerism, the Japanese audience is receptive to ads and is accustomed to being targeted daily. If you've ever been to Japan, you will know that billboards are everywhere in cities and ads shout at you from every urban street corner or public transportation. Plus, at night, the ads light up the city in all kinds of neon colors. It's the norm and the Japanese are used to it. 3D billboards. In Japan, billboards aren't just flat, they're three-dimensional wonders, and these 3D billboards pop up all over the country, turning ordinary streets into immersive experiences. From giant cats or dogs to adorable anime characters, these realistic ads capture the attention of passers-by like no other. So keep your eyes peeled for these eye-catching displays next time you're exploring the streets of Japan. It's like stepping into a whole new dimension of advertising. Elevators. In Japan, you also have elevators that go to half floors, like 1.5, 2.5, and you can also unblock buttons in the elevator, meaning if you accidentally pressed it, well, press it again and that floor is no longer selected. Revolutionary, if you ask me. Speaking English. There are relatively few people in Japan that speak English, partly due to cultural factors, as there's often a sense of shyness or reluctance to use English in public due to fear of making mistakes or embarrassment. I used the Google Translate app throughout my trip, which worked just perfectly, but make sure to learn some basics in Japanese, which will be greatly appreciated by the locals. Arigatou gozaimasu! Decorated manhole covers. That's right, Japan has some beautifully decorated manhole covers everywhere across the country. Some are illustrations of what makes that particular city special, and others are Pokemon-themed manhole covers, turning mundane sidewalks into a fun-filled adventure. So keep your eyes peeled and don't forget to look down every now and then. Smoothies! Smoothie making machines in your local 7-Eleven is a thing here. Did you know that in Japan you can grab your frozen fruit from the freezer, pop it in a machine, press a button, and voila, your refreshing smoothie is ready to be enjoyed. It's just one of the many quirky delights you'll find in Japan's convenience stores. Animal cafes. Step into the wild world of animal cafes in Japan. From cats to dogs to hedgehogs, there's a cafe for every animal lover. Relax with your favorite drink surrounded by furry friends offering a therapeutic escape from city life. Some cafes even feature exotic animals like owls, rabbits, or snakes. It's a unique experience, attracting locals and tourists alike. The convenience stores have a heater element for drinks, and no, I don't mean a microwave. It's almost like an open oven where your drinks are kept continuously hot. And I mean hot, not tepid. This is the first time I'd ever seen something like this, and Japanese convenience stores are basically like a mini kitchen on the go. Just incredible. Bowing in Japan. This is not just a polite gesture, it's practically an art form. In Japan, people bow rather than shake hands. From a casual nod to a deep respectful bow, the Japanese take their bowing very seriously, and it's deeply ingrained in Japanese culture, used to show respect, gratitude, and sincerity in various social interactions. A basket underneath your chair. That basket under your seat isn't just for decoration, it's for your belongings. In Japan, keeping your bag safe and sound while you dine is as easy as tucking it away under your chair. Cash payments. Welcome to the land of cash. Despite being a tech-savvy nation, Japan still loves its cash, with many businesses sticking to tradition. So make sure to hit up that ATM before exploring the streets of Japan. Also, here's a quirky twist. In Japan, tipping your waiter is rude. Unlike in some other cultures where tipping is a sign of appreciation, in Japan it can actually be considered rude. Also, ever notice how everything in Japan is passed with two hands? It's not just a quirk, it's a sign of respect. Whether it's handing over money or receiving a gift, using both hands shows politeness. High life expectancy. Japan has the third highest life expectancy amongst people. Thanks to their diet and active lifestyle, the Japanese enjoy exceptional health. With men living to around 81 and women to 87 on average, they're leading the pack in longevity. But here's the twist. This demographic trend is sparking a bit of a crisis. With more seniors than children, Japan faces economic challenges. Toy vending machines for collectibles. These are a cultural phenomenon in Japan. If you've ever walked past a mysterious and enticing capsule toy vending machine, you know how hard they are to resist. Scattered throughout Tokyo, these hugely popular machines dispense toys and trinkets in round plastic capsules, though you never know exactly what you're gonna get. Public baths are common. This is also known as an onsen in Japan, and unlike in many Western cultures where bathing is a private activity, in Japan, communal bathing in public baths is a traditional and popular practice. Of course, there are some rules to follow. Absolutely no staring, and make sure to thoroughly wash yourself before entering the onsen. Kit Kat flavors. While you might think of the classic Kit Kat, Japan is serving up a wild array of unique flavors you won't find anywhere else. From matcha to wasabi, beans and potato, or even cheesecake. Fun fact, Japan releases over 200 different Kit Kat flavors each year. The number 4 is bad luck. Watch out for the number 4 in Japan. It's got some seriously bad mojo. Known as shi, it sounds a lot like the word for death, and that's why you won't find a 4th floor in many buildings, and items are sold in sets of 3 or 5 to avoid the dreaded number. Maid cafes. These quirky cafes, often nestled in Tokyo's Akihabara district, feature impeccably dressed maids and butlers ready to entertain you with songs, dances, and adorable performances. Plus, the food is not only delicious but also super cute, taking kawaii to a whole new level. These are a popular cultural phenomenon in Japan, attracting locals and tourists alike with their unique charm and hospitality. Also, keep your eyes peeled for a cuddle cafe. Yup, you heard that right. You get to lie on a girl's lap or in her arms and just cuddle or nap. That was it, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope I got you up to speed on all things quirky in Japan. If you liked my content, don't forget to subscribe below and click that like button. Arigatou gozaimasu!